It's not the six-pack, it's not the fame, it's not even the money. Women go crazy for athletes because athletes embody something primal: dominance, movement, and mastery. They represent what modern men have forgotten: the fusion of body and spirit, pain and purpose, discipline and drive. An athlete doesn't need to talk to prove his worth. His presence speaks. Every muscle, every scar, every ounce of focus tells a story of self-conquest, and women instinctively respond to that. They crave the man who commands his world, not the one who begs to be understood. This isn't about becoming a sports star. It's about understanding the psychology behind attraction. When you move like a man on a mission, the world feels it, and so do women. By the end of this, you'll know exactly why they chase athletes and how to replicate that same magnetic energy without ever touching a field. Comment your thoughts below and subscribe if you're done chasing and ready to become the kind of man women can't ignore. 1. Women don't crave looks, they crave dominance. Attraction isn't built in the mirror, it's built in the mind. Modern men think women fall for muscles, jawlines, or designer fits. But the truth is darker. Women crave dominance, not decoration. They are drawn to certainty, not softness. An athlete embodies dominance in motion. Every step, every glance, every movement speaks of a man who owns himself. That confidence, that controlled aggression, activates something ancient in a woman's psyche. She doesn't consciously think he's strong. She feels it. Her biology responds before her logic catches up. Women aren't chasing looks. They're chasing the feeling of protection and power. It's not about the six-pack. It's about the signal the six-pack sends: discipline, self-respect, and command. That's what makes athletes magnetic. They don't flinch. They don't need approval. They live inside their purpose, and that's intoxicating. Meanwhile, the average man hides behind filters, validation, and soft-spoken politeness, hoping to be chosen. The athlete chooses himself. He's too busy winning battles within to chase external validation. And that's exactly why women chase him. If you want her to feel your presence, stop trying to look good and start becoming dangerous. Not reckless, but refined power. When your energy says, "I could destroy, but I choose to control," she doesn't just look at you. She submits to the gravity of who you are. Dominance isn't cruelty. It's clarity. It's knowing who you are, what you want, and refusing to shrink for anyone. And that's the first secret athletes hold. They don't compete for attention. They command it. 2. The athlete lives in motion, and motion equals life. Stillness is death to attraction. A man who doesn't move doesn't leave. You can see it: the dull eyes, the slouched posture, the drained aura of men who've forgotten their bodies. They scroll, they wait, they dream, but they don't move. And that stillness kills their magnetism. Athletes, on the other hand, live in motion. They sweat, they push, they collide with the world. Every sprint, lift, and breath signals vitality, the raw pulse of existence. Women don't consciously think, "He's athletic." They feel the life force radiating from him. It's in the way he walks, the rhythm of his breathing, the way his body occupies space like he belongs there. Because here's the truth: women are biologically wired to sense life energy. A man in motion is a man connected to his primal source. His blood moves with purpose. His body listens to his will. That energy is contagious, And that's what women crave. The athlete doesn't need to speak much. His body does the talking. Every movement is confidence in physical form. He's not trapped in thought, he embodies presence. And that's rare in a world full of overthinkers. The average man hides in his head, replaying fears, imagining rejection, avoiding risk. But the athlete? He exists in reality. His heartbeat syncs with his purpose. He knows pain, fatigue, and victory, not just conceptually, but physically. And that physical aliveness is what separates him from the dead-eyed masses. When a woman feels that energy, the pulse of life, she feels safe and stimulated. She's drawn to the man who can move through chaos, not crumble under it. Because motion is more than athleticism, it's emotional agility. It's the ability to take hits, adapt, and keep advancing. You want to replicate that? Stop sitting still, physically and mentally. Train, sweat, move. Feel your heart pounding and your lungs burning. Because when you move your body, you awaken your spirit. And once you do, your energy shifts. You stop chasing attention. It starts orbiting around you. Because motion equals life, and life always attracts life. The athlete doesn't need to prove he's alive. He is. And that's why the world, and the women in it, can't look away. 3. Discipline is the new aphrodisiac. We live in a world where men brag about freedom, but are slaves to impulse. They scroll for hours, chase pleasure, eat trash, and wonder why no one respects them. Modern society worships comfort, yet women still crave the man who resists it. That's why discipline is the new aphrodisiac, because it's rare. An athlete doesn't just have a body, he has proof of mastery. Every muscle, every movement is a silent story of self-control. The early mornings, the cold showers, the skipped parties, the moments of saying no when everyone else said yes. Women don't consciously analyze it, they feel it. His body radiates evidence of restraint, order, and self-respect. And that's what makes him magnetic. Because here's the secret. Attraction isn't about pleasure, it's about respect. A woman can't truly desire a man she doesn't respect. And she can't respect a man who can't even control himself. When she sees discipline, she sees reliability. She sees a man who isn't ruled by his urges, who doesn't fold when life tests him. She sees a man with structure, and structure breeds safety. An athlete's routine is a quiet display of masculine order. He eats with intention. He trains with purpose. He rests with discipline. He lives in alignment, not chaos. That's why his energy feels different. It's not frantic or desperate. It's calm, focused, composed, because he's not reacting to the world. He's directing it. Meanwhile, the average man thinks discipline is limitation. He believes he's free because he can do whatever he wants. But that's not freedom. That's weakness disguised as choice. True freedom is being able to say no to pleasure, to distraction, to anything that breaks your control. Discipline gives a man gravity. It slows his movements, sharpens his eyes, steadies his voice. When he walks into a room, he doesn't beg for attention. He commands it without trying. And women notice, not because he's flashy, but because he's rare. In a culture addicted to shortcuts, the man who still chooses the hard path stands out like fire in the dark. So if you want the same pull athletes have, stop focusing on the aesthetics. Build discipline. Build the lifestyle that demands sacrifice, not validation. Let your body and your energy tell the world who you are before your mouth ever opens. Because in this era of indulgence, the man who can master himself is irresistible. Discipline is the new aphrodisiac, and the world is starving for it. 4. Testosterone is truth. You can fake confidence. You can fake status. You can fake success. But you can't fake testosterone. It's not just a hormone, it's a frequency. A primal signal that tells the world, I'm here, I'm capable, I'm dangerous, but in control. And that's exactly why athletes draw people in. Their energy isn't manufactured. It's biological. When a man trains, when he pushes through pain, when he tests his limits, his chemistry changes, his posture shifts, his voice deepens, his presence hardens. He doesn't need to tell anyone he's confident. His body already made the announcement. Because testosterone is truth, it strips away weakness, excuses, and masks. It reconnects a man with his most ancient nature, the part that built civilizations, hunted in storms, and protected tribes. Athletes live closer to that edge. Their lives are a constant dialogue with discipline, challenge, and pain, the exact forces that forge masculine energy. Their biology mirrors their psychology. Controlled aggression, focused intensity, competitive spirit. That's what women respond to. Not the muscles, but the masculine signal behind them. You see, most modern men are chemically castrated. Not by medicine, by lifestyle. Endless screen time, processed food, porn, comfort, no sun, no challenge, no purpose. They've drained their own essence and replaced it with validation addiction. And then they wonder why they feel anxious, soft, and invisible. Athletes, on the other hand, live in alignment with nature's original design. They move, they lift, they fight, they sweat, they earn their chemistry every day. Testosterone rewards movement, not excuses. This isn't just about sex appeal. It's about magnetism. The reason a woman locks eyes with an athlete is because her biology recognizes signal. It's ancient, older than language. Her subconscious knows, this man can protect, this man can build, this man can lead. Confidence, aggression, and purpose. They're not social traits. They're biological weapons. And the tragedy is, most men have forgotten how to wield them. Society has tamed you. They told you aggression is toxic. They told you ambition is greed. They told you to sit still, smile politely, and never intimidate anyone. And in doing so, they killed your chemistry. But the truth Machiavelli understood, and the reason athletes thrive is this. Power is natural. Control is learned. Together, they create dominance. A man who embraces his primal edge doesn't become violent. He becomes vital. His presence alone shifts the energy in a room, because people can feel when a man has command over himself. So if you want that same magnetism, stop trying to mimic it. Don't fake confidence. Build chemistry. Lift heavy, sleep deeply. Eat like a warrior, not a consumer. Cut out the poisons that drain your drive. Reclaim the habits that make you dangerous and disciplined enough not to misuse it. Because in a world of passive men, the one who still radiates raw, centered power doesn't need to chase anyone. He becomes the gravitational force. Testosterone is truth, and every woman, whether she admits it or not, can feel it from miles away. 5. The spotlight effect. Validation amplifies desire. Power doesn't always whisper. Sometimes it glows. And when the light hits one man in a room full of others, the crowd doesn't just notice, it reacts. That's the spotlight effect. The phenomenon where visibility becomes validation and validation becomes irresistible magnetism. Athletes live under that spotlight. Every victory, every cheer, every moment of recognition publicly announces their worth, not just to the world, but to the collective unconscious of everyone watching. When a man is celebrated, women don't see attention, they see proof. It's human instinct. We evolved to follow signals of value. When a tribe celebrated its strongest hunter, the women didn't need to test his worth. The tribe already had. He'd been socially verified. That primal logic never left us. In the modern world, stadium lights and social media replaced tribal fires, but the psychology remains. When women see a man cheered, admired, or pursued, their biology interprets it as he has what others want. Therefore, he must be worthy. That's social proof, the invisible currency of attraction. And it's why athletes don't chase, they draw. When thousands cheer for one man, they amplify his signal 1,000-fold. His perceived value multiplies because validation creates a feedback loop. Admiration gives desire, gives more admiration, gives more desire. Women aren't falling for him at first, they're falling for what the world says he represents. Power, confidence, mastery, dominance. Those traits are confirmed publicly, not privately, and that makes the attraction contagious. Now here's the cold truth. Most men will never experience that level of external validation. They won't hear crowds scream their name. They won't see people line up for photos or praise their discipline. But you can still replicate the psychology. Because the spotlight effect doesn't require fame, it requires framing. If you position yourself as a man of value, the world starts reflecting that belief back to you. If you move with self-certainty, people assume you have reason to. If you operate with purpose, you stop looking like a man who needs approval, and that absence of need is magnetic in itself. Understand this. Validation amplifies desire, but need destroys it. The athlete doesn't seek the crowd seeks him. And that's the secret. When women see others respond to you, whether it's admiration from peers, respect from men, or quiet deference in public, they subconsciously assume your value has already been tested and proven. You've become socially certified. But here's the deeper Machiavellian truth. Public validation is not the source of power. It's the shadow of it. The spotlight doesn't create greatness. It reveals it. If you chase the light, you'll burn. If you become the light, you'll draw the world effortlessly. So stop seeking external validation. Build internal proof. Let your discipline, confidence, and control make noise louder than your words. Become undeniable in silence until the world has no choice but to notice. Because the secret of the spotlight effect isn't about attention, it's about certainty. Athletes have it because their lives revolve around evidence, training, results, victories. Their value isn't speculative, it's visible. You can replicate that in any domain. Earn your spotlight through mastery, and you'll find that validation becomes automatic and attraction becomes effortless. When a man doesn't need the crowd but commands it anyway, that's when desire reaches its peak. That's the paradox of power. They don't go crazy for who you pretend to be under the lights. They'd go crazy for the man who built himself when no one was watching. 6. The aura of purpose. There's a presence some men carry that can't be faked, an energy that fills the room before they even speak. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. Athletes have it, that unshakable sense of direction, the discipline that bends their days into ritual, the hunger that never dies, even after victory. It's the aura of purpose. Women feel it before they understand it, because purpose is masculine gravity. It pulls everything, attention, respect, desire, without asking. Most men chase women because they have nothing else to chase. They make attention their mission, validation their scoreboard. Their life orbits around being seen. But athletes, their life orbits around becoming. They wake up before dawn not to impress anyone, but to wage war with their own limits. Every rep, every lap, every bruise, it's an act of worship to something bigger than pleasure. And that devotion radiates through them like fire beneath the skin. Purpose is magnetic because it's rare. A man who knows where he's going and refuses to be distracted becomes a psychological riddle. You can't manipulate him. You can't tempt him. You can only witness him. And that mystery drives people insane. Women are drawn to men with purpose, not because they want to control them, but because they can't. His focus becomes his fortress. His mission becomes his mistress. And she subconsciously knows to stand beside such a man she must rise to meet him. That's the hidden dynamic of attraction. No one talks about polarity. A woman's deepest desire isn't to lead a man. It's to feel safe surrendering to one who leads himself. And nothing communicates leadership louder than purpose. Purpose is oxygen from masculine energy. It sharpens the mind. It regulates emotion. It removes desperation. That's why the athlete doesn't need to chase. His life already has chase built into it. Not for validation, but for victory. He is always moving forward, and the world can't help but follow the motion. Men without purpose drown in stillness. They scroll, they compare, they crave. They confuse pleasure for peace and attention for affection. Their energy is restless because it lacks direction, and restlessness is repulsive. But when a man moves through the world with clarity, every word measured, every step deliberate, he carries the same stillness as a storm before it hits. That's the aura of purpose, calm, powerful, untouchable. Women feel that. They can sense when a man's eyes are fixed on something beyond them, not because he doesn't care, but because he's becoming. And that paradox is intoxicating. He's fully present, yet unreachable. He sees her, but she's not his focus. She feels chosen, yet knows he could walk away at any moment. That balance, affection without attachment, attention without addiction, is what separates powerful men from the weak. You don't need a field, a court, or a medal to carry that energy. You just need direction, a mission that consumes you, a reason that makes rejection irrelevant and desire secondary. Because the moment your life becomes about something greater than women, women become drawn to your life. That's the paradox every athlete embodies. They don't play for attention, they play through it. And attention becomes their shadow, not their goal. So ask yourself, what's your arena? What's your battlefield? What are you waking up to conquer that's bigger than lust, approval, or envy? Because once you find that, once your life catches fire with purpose, you won't need to chase anyone. They'll feel your presence before you even arrive. That's not luck. That's power earned through direction. And that's what makes women go crazy. Not the muscles, not the fame, but the unmistakable aura of a man who knows why he exists. 7. Pain makes them magnetic. There's something haunting about a man who's familiar with pain. Not the pain of heartbreak or boredom, but the kind that breaks your body and reforms your soul. Athletes live in that space. They wake up sore, exhausted, bruised, and do it again. Every rep is rebellion. Every drop of sweat is a confession. I'm not here for comfort. I'm here to conquer myself. That energy doesn't go unnoticed. Women can feel it, even if they can't name it. It's in the eyes, in the posture, in the quiet way he moves like he's seen hell and made peace with it. Because pain gives presence, and presence gives power. When a man has been through enough, he stops chasing pleasure. He stops needing attention. He stops apologizing for being intense. He walks with the gravity of someone who has earned his calm. That's what makes him magnetic. Athletes don't just train muscles, they train resilience. Every time they push through fatigue, failure, and injury, they're teaching their nervous system to stay composed under chaos. And women are biologically drawn to that, the calm within the storm. It's not about looks or money. It's about energy. A man who's made peace with pain radiates a quiet dominance. He doesn't need to prove anything, because he's already survived everything. That's what separates him from the soft, comfortable men who crumble under rejection or difficulty. When a man hasn't suffered, he lives in theory. He's fragile, easily offended, easily shaken. But when a man has bled for something, he carries truth in his body. You can feel it in his handshake, in his silence, in the way he looks at the world without flinching. Pain gives a man texture. It's the difference between surface-level confidence and grounded certainty. Because once you've faced your own breaking point, external judgment loses power over you. Women sense that freedom. They can tell when a man isn't enslaved by comfort. It's in his discipline, his patience, his lack of desperation. Athletes embody that naturally. Their lives revolve around discomfort. Waking early, sacrificing pleasure, training while others sleep. Pain becomes their teacher, their sculptor, their edge. And that edge? That's what women crave but can't articulate. It's not toxic masculinity. It's tempered masculinity. It's the steel forged through suffering, the kind that doesn't need to roar to command respect. Pain humbles a man. It burns out vanity, forcing him to see what actually matters: consistency, control, purpose. When you've been broken and rebuilt, you stop trying to impress, you just are. That authenticity is magnetic, because in a world of fakes, the man who has suffered genuinely becomes rare. Think about it. Every rep an athlete pushes through is a silent declaration. I can handle more. That's the root of masculine power, capacity. The ability to bear weight, endure struggle, and stay composed while others collapse. Pain creates capacity. Capacity creates confidence. And confidence creates attraction. So when women gravitate toward athletes, it's not just about abs or fame. It's instinctual, a deep subconscious pull toward strength that's been tested. They feel safe near that kind of power, not because it's loud, but because it's earned. You can't fake that aura. You can't copy it through words, money, or aesthetics. You can only forge it through suffering, through showing up on days when you'd rather quit, through pushing past limits when no one's watching. That's why pain is magnetic, because it refines. It burns away the weak parts of a man until only truth remains. Every scar tells a story. Every failure, every comeback, every ache builds a presence that silence can't hide. So if you want to carry that same energy, stop running from pain. Embrace it. Train through it. Discipline through it. Because comfort never built power. Pain did. And when a man learns to use his pain instead of escaping it, he stops needing validation. He becomes the storm, not the one seeking shelter from it. That's the secret women feel but can't explain. They don't just want a man who looks strong. They want a man who's been through war and came back alive. That's why athletes draw them in. Their pain isn't weakness. It's presence. And presence in its purest form is irresistible. 8. You can replicate it without the jersey. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. You don't need the stadium, the crowd, or the uniform. You just need the spirit. Because women aren't drawn to athletes because of the game. They're drawn to the energy the game forges. Focus, discipline, confidence built through pressure. Those traits can be trained anywhere by any man willing to suffer for mastery. The jersey is irrelevant. The spirit is everything. The athlete represents a man who has purpose. His time, body, and mind are organized around pursuit. Every calorie, every movement, every decision has intent behind it. That's what makes him magnetic. He lives with direction. And here's the secret. You can live like that too. You can make your life your arena. Your goals your championship. Your discipline your daily practice. You don't need a coach screaming on the sidelines or fans cheering your name. You just need to wake up and declare war on your own weakness. That's what women feel in athletes. That inner fire, that structure, that primal devotion to something bigger than pleasure. When a man lives with that kind of intensity, his energy shifts. He moves differently. He talks differently. He doesn't beg for attention. He commands it. Because focus is rare, discipline is rare, and rarity is always attractive. Most men move through life scattered, chasing women, dopamine, distractions. They talk big, but commit small. They crave results without struggle, validation without sacrifice. But an athlete's essence, the way he earns everything through pain, that's the magnetic formula. When you apply that same standard to your craft, your body, your mission, you become what women instinctively crave, a man of order in a world of chaos. Let's break it down. Focus. Pick one pursuit and go all in. When you move with purpose, you stop wasting energy on meaningless drama. The average man leaks attention everywhere. The disciplined man directs it like a weapon. That shift alone changes how people feel around you. You stop feeling available. You start feeling important. Discipline, pain builds presence. If you're not training your body, your focus, or your emotions, you're decaying. Athletes look powerful because their routine is carved into their nervous system. They show up regardless of emotion. That consistency radiates strength, and strength is sexy. Aggression, healthy aggression isn't violence. It's intensity. It's drive. It's the refusal to live passively. athletes channel aggression into performance. You can channel it into business, art, or self-mastery. When you do, women sense it, that alive, unfiltered masculine current that most men suppress to appear nice. You don't need a stadium to embody this. You just need structure, struggle, and standards. You can lift weights, build a brand, or learn a craft with the same hunger an athlete brings to his sport. It's not about competition, it's about embodiment. Athletes become their mission. You must too. When a man treats his life like a game to dominate, every day a practice, every obstacle a test, he starts to glow with that same magnetism. It's not arrogance, it's certainty. Women aren't attracted to the sport, they're attracted to the spirit of domination. The man who has direction, edge, and control over himself. The man who refuses mediocrity. You can build that energy through any discipline, a gem, entrepreneurship, martial arts, art, coding, writing, creation. What matters isn't what you do, it's how you do it. If you approach your mission with the same intensity as an athlete chases a title, you'll carry the same energy that bends attraction naturally. Because attraction isn't magic, it's energetic math. Discipline plus direction plus pain equals magnetic presence. So forget the jersey, forget the fame, forget the highlight reel. Your power doesn't come from the field. It comes from what you practice in private. Train harder, speak less, build more. Move through life like a man who's competing with his former self every single day. That's what gives you the aura. That's what commands respect. That's what makes people, especially women, feel you without you saying a word. The real athlete doesn't need applause. He already knows who he is. So stop idolizing players. Start becoming one in your own arena. It's not the sport, it's the spirit. And when you master that, you'll realize the world doesn't chase the jersey. It chases the energy of the man who earns it. You don't need fame, followers, or a championship ring to become magnetic. You just need the mindset of a man who trains when no one's watching. Because the truth is this, women don't fall for the athlete. They fall for what he represents. Focus, drive, hunger, self-respect. Those traits aren't exclusive to the field. They're built in silence through discipline and pain. Every man has two choices: to chase comfort like the crowd, or to chase mastery like the few. Athletes simply chose mastery. They live with purpose. They move with intensity. They radiate power because their actions are aligned with a mission bigger than themselves. You can replicate that same energy without ever touching a ball, stepping on a court, or lifting a trophy. All you need is a mission, a standard, a reason to suffer. Because once you start living with that fire, the world feels it. You'll speak less and command more. You'll chase less and attract more. You'll stop begging for validation and start breathing purpose. That's the energy that dominates every room, every interaction, every relationship. It's not about looking like an athlete. It's about becoming the archetype, a man who has earned his strength, focus, and discipline through relentless repetition. So build your body, sharpen your mind, move with conviction. And remember, the crowd may cheer for players, but the world quietly obeys the disciplined. If this hit you, comment, "I'm in training," and make sure to subscribe, because this is just the beginning of your transformation. Welcome to the rebirth of masculine power.